Jaya Goranitai, 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 Jaya Goranitai. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitagora Hari Bol. Jai Shri Sachi Sutashtakam ki Jai. His complexion is the hue of fresh cream tinged with kumkum. He is the ever-fresh Cupid who shoots arrows of newly blossoming flowers. He bears newer and newer moods of emotional ecstasies. He is fond of performing novel dances. He makes ever new jokes that cause much laughter. His brilliant luster is like the freshly cast gold. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. He is endowed with ever fresh love of Godhead. His radiant luster is like the color of fresh butter. His fresh attire is arranged in ever new fashions. He relishes ever new mellows of love for Krishna. He shines in ninefold new ways while executing the ninefold processes of devotion. He is permeated with a most auspicious loving nature. I bow down to God, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. He is absorbed in devotion to Sri Hari. He maintains the chanting of the names of Hari. While chanting, he counts the holy names on the fingers of his hands. He is addicted to the name of Hari. He always has tears of love welling in his eyes. I bow down to God, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. He is always removing the suffering of material existence for mankind. He is the goal of life for persons who are dedicated to their supreme interest. He inspires men to become like honeybees, eager for the honey of Krishna Prem. He removes the burning fever of the material world. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. He who motivates pure devotion to himself, who is most attractive to his beloved servitors, who is the king of the community of those who are expert in dancing with great dramatic pathos, and who makes the mind together with his associate, the lusty senses dance. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. He plays kartal as his throat emits sweet melodious sounds, and the vibrant note of the veena are softly played. He thus inspires the devotees to perform dramatic dancing that is infused with aspects of his own devotional service. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. He is accompanied by the Sankirtan movement, which is the religious practice for the age of Kali. He is the son of Nanda Maharaj come again. He is the extraordinarily brilliant ornament of the earth. His preaching mood is suitably adapted to the cycle of birth and death. His consciousness is fixed in meditation on his own form of Krishna. He is always accompanied by his transcendental abode. I bow down to Kaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. His eyes, the soles of his feet, his clothing as are reddish like the color that heralds the rising sun. As he utters his own names, his voice flutters. He awakens a sweet flavor to his life throughout the universe. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai.
Biharī. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanajari. Jamuna Tira Vanajari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jayo Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Nithai Gaura Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 4, Text number 26. Uddhava Uvacha Nanute Tattva Samradhya Rishikausharavodntike Sakshat Bhagavatadishto Martya Lokam Jihasata. Uddhava Uvacha Nanute Tattva Samradhya Rishikausharavodntike साक्षात् भगवतादिष्टो मर्त्यलोकं जिहासता उद्धव उवाच ननु ते तत्त्वसम्राध्या ऋषिकौशारवोऽन्तिके साक्षात् भगवतादिष्टो मर्त्यलोकं जिहासता उद्धव उवाच तत्त्वसम्राध्या ऋषिकौशारवोऽन्तिके साक्षात् भगवतादिष्टो मर्त्यलोकं जिहासता माताजी's उद्धव उवाच अनुते तत्त्वसम्राध्या ऋषिकौशारवोऽन्तिके साक्षात् भगवतादिष्टो मर्त्यलोकं जिहासता उद्धव उवाच ननु ते तत्त्वसम्राध्या ऋषिकौशारवोऽन्तिके साक्षात् भगवतादिष्टो मर्त्यलोकं जिहासता. Word to word meaning. Uddhava uvacha. Uddhava said, Nanu, however, te, of yourself, tattva samradhya, one who is worshipable for reception of transcendental knowledge. Rishihi, learned scholar. Kausharava, unto the son of Kusaru Maitreya. Antike, staying nearby. Sakshat, directly. Bhagavata, by the personality of Godhead. Adishtaha, instructed. Martya lokam, mortal world. Jihasata, while quitting. Translation. Shri Uddhava said, you may take lessons from the great learned sage Maitreya, who is nearby and who is worshipable for reception of transcendental knowledge. He was directly instructed by the personality of Godhead while he was about to quit this mortal world. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Although one may be well versed in the transcendental science, one should be careful about the offense of maryada vyatikram, or impermanently surpassing a greater personality. According to scriptural injunction, one should be very careful of transgressing the law of maryada vyatikram, because by doing one loses his duration of life, his opulence, fame, and piety, and the blessings of the world. To be well versed in transcendental science necessitates awareness of the techniques of spiritual science. Uddhava, Being well aware of all these technicalities of transcendental science, advised Vidura to approach Maitreya Rishi to receive transcendental knowledge. Vidura wanted to accept Uddhava as his spiritual master, but Uddhava did not accept the post because Vidura was as old as Uddhava's father, and therefore Uddhava could not accept him as his disciple, especially when Maitreya was present nearby. The rule is that in the presence of a higher personality, one should not be very eager to impart instructions even if one is competent and well versed. So Uddhava decided to send an elderly person like Vidura to Maitreya, another elderly person. But he was well versed also because he was directly instructed by the Lord while he was about to quit the mortal world. Since both Uddhava and Maitreya were directly instructed by the Lord, both had the authority to become spiritual master of Vidura or anyone else. But Maitreya, being elderly, had the first claim to becoming the spiritual master, especially for Vidura, who was much older than Uddhava. One should not be eager to become a spiritual master cheaply for the sake of profit and fame, but should become a spiritual master only for the service of the Lord. The Lord never tolerates the impertinence of maryada vyatikram. One should never pass over the honor due to an elderly spiritual master in the interests of one's own personal gain and fame. Impertinence on the part of pseudo-spiritual master is very risky to progressive spiritual realization. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Dadamayam Dadati Smam Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Sri Yuta Padagamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Bracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our morning regular Srimad Bhagavatam class. So today we have continuing this discussion of the Samvad, the interactions between Vidura, Maitreya and Uddhava. This section speaks about this particular pastime. So as we read the purport and we read the verse, the theme in this particular verse is very much, outstanding or standing out, or it is very, very clear when you read this particular verse and this purport that the theme of discussion for today's topic will be based on maryada. That the purport here speaks about maryada vitikram. So we'll speak about what is maryada, and the culture of respect, offering the culture of respect. So the discussion of our next half an hour, 45 minutes will be based on this particular subject. Recently, we had been to Mayapur, and in one of the seminars, His Holiness Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj, he was just highlighting the prominence of the social media, the advent of social media, the digital platforms, and how they have really taken the entire world by storm. So he was giving stats. 80% of the population today is in some form or the other engaged with digital gadgets on social media platforms. The age group of 18 to 65, on an average, they spend about 2.5 hours to 6.5 hours per day on the social media platforms. So he was basically encouraging devotees to make their presence online. If you want to preach, then you go to people, you reach out to people. So he said people are already there here, so we just need to be present on these platforms. So this was the positive aspect. This is the positive aspect, that we have platforms where we can outreach and reach out to people. But then it has its cons also. It has the other side. I mean, every coin has a head, and then the tail also comes along with it. So recently, we all must have heard, it was a big news in the entire country because of the advent of this particular platform. I'm sorry, one minute. Yeah. So because of the advent of this technology, it is so easy for someone to speak whatever he feels like. Just open a channel, come on the platform, invite a few guests. You have the skill of speech, you have the skill of articulation, and you have the skill of making conversations. It becomes very easy for someone to become very popular. You invite famous people, and it's like they attract you, you attract them. So recently, in one such person, he ended up going in some other show and spoke pretty obnoxious things. And then we all know that what did he do? He crossed the maryada. And when he broke the maryada, there was chaos in the entire platform. Immediately, everybody started trolling him, bashing him, and then they started showing their criticism, or they showed that this everything cannot be tolerated. Everything and anything will not do. So sometimes people ask the question, does society have any moral etiquettes or codes of conduct? So thankfully, at least in our country, this recent example portrays that our country and the people in our country at least are at some level of moral codes of conduct are still prevalent within our society. Otherwise, people like these might get away, and then when they get away, it might become the new normal for others to follow. So thankfully, at least in our country, we find till now there is a semblance of culture, Vedic culture, very much prevalent, and it is still growing nicely. So how do you define the term maryada? Maryada translates to ethical or moral boundaries. It signifies a set of principles, rules, integrity, standard, or it might just show us or highlight a righteous path of life that one needs to follow. What is an example for maryada you can think of? In a cricket field, what is the maryada for a batsman or a bowler? The crease. So if a batsman is not conscious of its crease, what happens? He'll be run out or stumped out. And similarly, the bowler, he is not conscious about the crease. He crosses the maryada of the crease. Again, there is a no ball or a white ball signaled by the referee. We have the Chowpatty beach here. We go out of the temple, take a right turn, go to the Chowpatty beach, and then we can see a huge ocean there. So what is the maryada of the ocean? You go to the ocean, it is so calming. It is said that huge water bodies, so many therapists, they advise people, go and sit in front of water bodies like the ocean, and your mind will be relaxed, calm, and cool and composed. So we have the benefit of a huge ocean body right in, besides us. So the ocean body's maryada is the shore. If the ocean transgresses the maryada and, crosses the shore, what happens? Bombay city will cease to exist. We are like surrounded on all three sides by water. So if the ocean decides to transgress its maryada, then we cease to exist. So that is why whenever we actually see the ocean, when we go to Chowpatty, at least it should strike us that we should always, just like the ocean is maintaining its maryada, we should also try to practice and stay within our limits, stay within our boundaries, and practice devotional service respecting the etiquettes, codes of conduct, and the boundaries that have been set by the laws of nature and God for us. So there are three types of work: Prakriti, Vikriti, and Sanskriti. So Prakriti is the nature that everybody is born with, the self-acquired nature, that innate nature that every living entity is born with. Nature of a lion is to catch its prey and eat it. The nature of a cuckoo, when it's springtime, naturally it will start singing whatever it may be. That is the innate nature of that particular bird. So Prakriti is a acquired nature or nature that we actually are born with. And then Vikriti is something where it is very dangerous. It is that nature where our nature gets deformed, and then we take pleasure in causing pain and seeing that pain. Just like Ravan, he took pleasure in causing pain to others, and then in that pain he derived pleasure. So these type of people, Vikriti, are very, very dangerous for society. And then the third one is Sanskriti. This is those people, we all have temptations, but there are a certain sect of people who with their strength and dint of strength and determination can actually resist temptations. And then these are people are situated on the platform of goodness. So it is said that Kishkinda is in Prakriti, Ayodhya is Sanskriti, and Lanka is Vikriti, to just give certain examples. And the goal of human life should be to basically take ourselves and our nature from the platform of Prakriti, where we are constitutionally naturally situated, to the platform of Sanskriti. So if we can do that, then the soul or the body can basically progress and then yearn for God consciousness. So strength plus virtue is a trait of Sanskriti. And coming back to this verse, where it is described that when Uddhava comes, our Vidura comes, and he inquires to Uddhava that, please give me spiritual knowledge and realization, can you please impart that? So then he is very conscious that Maitreya Muni is very much nearby, and following the codes of conduct, that in the presence of a senior who is equally well instructed and is very learned, and then somebody who's as old as his own father, he directs them to Maitreya Muni, and he follows that in the assembly, in the presence of seniors, when we all are seated. So as a junior, one must be very conscious about when to speak and when to keep quiet. So here we see that the culture of respect is being depicted. Now in the course of our next few minutes when we'll discuss, we will speak about various stories, various depictions from our scriptures which bring about this aspect of respect. And this culture of respect, how important it is to practice in our life. And we learn from various people mentioned in the scriptures amongst various stories what we should do, what we should not do, what are the do's, what are the don'ts, and where we should be careful and where we should be very, very conscious. So there is, from the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is this example of the great king Indra. So it is said that Indra was the king of heavens, and you could say life is as good as it gets for someone like Indra. And he entered the assembly. So there was his spiritual master Brihaspati. Somehow or the other, Indra offended his spiritual master without even his knowledge. So it was said that you can commit offense by two methods. One is by commission and one is by omission. So what does that mean? So by commission means you basically go and you speak something through your actions, through some references, you actually end up disrespecting the person. And by omission means by sheer dint of neglect, you might not even come to know. You didn't offer obeisances or you didn't acknowledge the person. So by omission, this means this is the way in which you can also not offer respect to our great personalities. So either we positively speak something or we negatively ignore. This is the way respect can be accorded or not accorded. So Indra committed this knowingly, unknowingly to Brihaspati, and because of not giving respect, knowingly, unknowingly to his own spiritual master, he got cursed by Brihaspati, and then one after the other, the story goes in the 6th canto. We can read the story in detail. One thing led to another, another thing led to another, and Indra got caught in this vicious loop of not offering respect, and as a result of which, there is fall down of Indra. Another instance comes to denote such a similar aspect. It is again involving Indra. It is again from the pages of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So one time Indra was riding his elephant, and his elephant was not like some of the elephants that we see in our world. His name was Airavat, very famous, very, very aristocratic, and completely different than all the other elephants that you will find. So Indra was riding this elephant, and the sage Durvasa, he happened to be there. And then Durvasa Muni, when he saw Indra, he just took out his garland and offered his garland to Indra. So it is said in the Bhagavatam, a famous verse comes, Tyaktvopa Shragagandha Vaso Lankara Charchita Uchishta Bhojino Dashas Tava Mayam Jayemahi. So here in the 11th canto, this verse, it tells us, if we decorate ourselves with a garland, Shraga, with a garland, Gandha, we offer garlands to the Lord, we offer, fragrant oils to the Lord. Vaso, that means dresses offered to the Lord. Lankara, ornaments. And Uchishta, or you partake remnants of the Lord or the devotee, the great devotees of the Lord. If at all you are offered a garland that belongs to the Lord, that is offered to the Lord, or a very senior pure devotee of the Lord, senior Vaishnavas, and at that time we honor the garland, we respect the garland, then that particular jiva or living entity is slated and tends to make devotional and spiritual advancement. From this verse we also learn that so many times we are engaged in deity worship. So the paraphernalia of the Lord is there, the garlands are there, the fragrant oils are there, the remnants of the Lord as Mahaprasad is there, and the dress of the Lord is being offered. As pujaris, we are climbing on the altar, we keep the dresses when we do Shringar. So it teaches us that not only the Lord in front of us do we respect, but we should also be very, very careful in our consciousness to deal with the paraphernalia of the Lord. And when you offer very nice respect and conscious, we are actually conscious of offering respect to the paraphernalia of the Lord, then we tend to stand to gain, to make spiritual advancement. So in this story we see that Durvasa Muni, he comes there and he happens to see Indra, and Indra he sees is living in such material opulence. So as a respected sage and learned wise sage, he notices that this living entity, this king, he needs sadhu seva, he needs sadhu kripa, he needs sadhu sangha. So he removes his own garland and he puts it on Indradev. Now Indradev, he sees that Airavat, his elephant, he doesn't have a garland, but Indra was having lots of garlands. So he just says, let me give some mercy to my elephant also. So he removes his garland and puts it on the elephant. And then what does the elephant do? As any other elephant with the trunk, it lifts, removes the garland from his neck, and then completely withers away all the flowers from the garland. They fall down and tramples upon them. So in this way, it disrespects the paraphernalia of great Vaishnava souls. And then Durvasa Muni sees that, and then he gets agitated and he curses Indra. So then the learning for us from this particular pastime and this particular story in the Srimad Bhagavatam is that if you take the paraphernalia of the Lord also cheaply, and if we do not accord it the due respect, in the life of Indra we saw that that one disrespect caused to the paraphernalia by Indra led to his fall down, and he was cursed by sage Durvasa. So we should be very, very careful of such instances in our life, especially as we are dealing with the paraphernalia of the Lord day in, day out in our services in the deity room. Another story which depicts and speaks, brings about this culture of respect is the story of Roma Harshana. So Roma Harshana Sutta, he was giving a Bhagavatam class in the Naimisharanya, and before him or after him, Shukadev Goswami had also spoken on the banks of Ganga. Roma Harshana Sutta. So Roma Harshana Sutta. Sutta means son of Roma Harshana. Sutta Goswami was present when Shukadev Goswami was speaking the Srimad Bhagavatam on the banks of Ganga. And then later on, the same Sutta Goswami, who is named after Roma Harshana Sutta. So he also speaks the Srimad Bhagavatam. He is also given the privilege of speaking and rendering this service of speaking Srimad Bhagavatam to sages in the same place, Naimisharanya, a few years later. So Radhanath Maharaj had emphasized a lot on this particular pastime, and he had made all of us, read this particular translation. And there is a famous picture painting by Haridas Thakur Prabhu where this translation from this particular chapter is also put in our Sharanagati area. So we see that what did Roma Harshana Sutta do? Balaramji entered the assembly. And when Balaramji entered the assembly, all the sages who were listening to the Harikatha, they immediately got up from their seats in order as a mark of offering respect to Balaramji. But only one person did not get up. That was Roma Harshana, who was seated on the Vyasasan. He thought, maybe I do not need to offer respect to Balaramji. And he continued speaking. So Radhanath Maharaj in his class was quoting that Balaramji, he is emphasizing. And then Maharaj further states that he says, we use an exclamation mark to emphasize a point of view that we need to convey. So similarly, Balaramji used the exclamation mark, and Maharaj says exclamation mark is very much similar to the blade of kusha grass. So Balaramji emphasizes by using this exclamation mark in the form of a kusha grass and touches Roma Harshana and wipes out his head. So one may think, does Balaramji crave for respect? Is this the need out of respect that Balaramji acted like that? But the answer is no. Balaramji does not yearn for respect. Actually, Balaramji is Guru. And as Guru, Balaramji is teaching us certain things. So it is said that Balaramji is teaching us that if we have a desire for fame, if we have a desire for respect, if we have a desire to be popular, if we inculcate a desire that we should be first, and then we are given the privilege of speaking, we are given the privilege of singing. So what happens? If you have such a consciousness, if our heart is already polluted with all these anarthas, then it is indicated that we are actually polluting the listeners who are listening to us. So if you inculcate such consciousness, it is not a good precedent which is said for the assembly which is actually hearing. Either we are speaking or we may be singing. So we must be very, very careful about our character, our consciousness. Otherwise, it might pass on to the others. And also, it is always said that one must always hanker to hear from pure souls, because on the other hand, when we hear from pure souls, their purity is infused into our hearts. So then Balaramji is trying to instruct all of us that how it is essential to offer respects and what are the pitfalls of not offering respect. At the same time, when Balaramji actually saw that Romaharshana Sutta, he had this mentality that I don't need to offer any respect to anyone. I am the most advanced spiritual living entity here. So then what does he do? He just lifts a blade of kusha grass and touches, and then he says, okay, you just die. And then Balaramji then, he wanted to respect the Brahmanas who were equally present in the assembly. Now the interesting thing is, the Brahmanas just a few minutes or few hours ago, they had showered blessings upon Romaharshana. And they had said, all blessings may be bestowed unto you, who is now going to speak the Bhagavatam to all of us. So does that indicate that this act of Balaramji, he is disrespecting the Brahmanas? Actually, no. So we should now see what Balaramji does. Balaramji, what did he do after this? He actually then took Suta Goswami, who was the son of Romaharshana, and then he put him on the Vyasasan, and he gave him the adhikar to speak Srimad Bhagavatam. So here, Balaramji indicates that Romaharshana Sutta is still living, so father lives through his son. So Balaramji installed Suta Goswami as the head speaker, and now he was speaking. So here, in a way, Balaramji again revived Romaharshana. Then he tells the sages, if you feel that I have done something wrong, I can revive Romaharshana. So the sages tell Balaramji, no my lord, we completely trust you. If you have done certain things and you have taken an action, we are completely in alignment with your thoughts and action, and we do not want you to change your decision. We are very happy with whatever you have decided. We go with you, we respect your decision. So second, dear Balaramji, he offers the sages that I can revive Romaharshana again. Then third, Balaramji, he killed the demons who were in the nearby Naimisharanya forest, and these demons would always try to cause harm and obstruct the sacrifices and penances performed by the sages. So in a way, he also relieved and served, respected the sages by clearing and killing all the demons. And then last, he goes on a pilgrimage to purify himself in a way of atonement for this particular act. So Balaramji is teaching us in this particular story by his own example that even on the Vyasasan, by sitting, if we do not offer proper respect, if we do not cultivate the consciousness to actually offer respect to our seniors, then we are also putting ourselves in danger and suffering the same ignominy as that particular individual of Romaharshana. What was his plight by Balaramji, we could also be in the same particular plight. Further, we see in the Krishna Leela that one time Krishna's son Sambha What to speak of others? Krishna's own son Samba was playing with his friends. So they disguise Samba and dress him as a woman, as a pregnant woman. And then Narad Muni, Durvas Muni are coming from the opposite direction. And these Yadukulas go towards them and they approach them and ask, "Oh, great sages, can you please tell us, is it going to be a boy or is it going to be a girl?" So then this was a very, very wrong thing to do. It was actually a very, very bad thing, or making a mockery of the respect for sages. Then, as we all know, what did the sages say? It is neither going to be a boy nor going to be a girl. It will be a lump of flesh, which will be the reason for the beginning of the cause of destruction. Yadukula vinashakam. This is what the great sages instruct them. So if we do not offer proper respect, or we actually tend to disrespect in our daily references, then we stand to lose a lot. So we saw certain instances from the Bhagavatam and from the various other scriptures about what happens when you do not offer respect to seniors. So now let us see some episodes about where the principle of offering respect or the culture of respect is being nurtured. Let us go to the pages of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and there is this particular pastime where Srinivas Acharya, he is instructed by his mother that please go and take the blessings of Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who at that time was residing in Shri Jagannath Puri. And his mother also told, before you take the blessings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please do not forget to visit Janma Mata and take her blessings. So as instructed by his mother, who is born from a devotee family, Srinivas Acharya comes from a devotee family. So he listens and respects to the words of his mother, and he sets out to reach Jagannath Puri. And on the way he meets Janma Mata and seeks her blessings. So as he is taking and paying his respects to Mother Janva, she says, please go and surely visit Abhiram Thakur. So then, as he was told by his mother to first meet Mahaprabhu and take Janma Mata's blessings, and then when she says, go to meet Abhiram Thakur, so then he sets out to meet Abhiram Thakur. And then he reaches the house of Abhiram Thakur and he knocks. Abhiram Thakur opens the door and he immediately welcomes him and he says, you must have come from a long, arduous journey and walking so many miles. He takes this 4 paisa. 4 paisa of that time may be resembling 800 to 1000 rupees of today's time. And he tells, go to the market, buy some fruits, buy some vegetables, cook yourself some good meal, offer it mentally to the deity of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then please honor, refresh yourself, and then we can meet. And then Srinivas Acharya, very nicely, he says, very well, I will definitely do this. I am tired, definitely, and as per your instruction, he takes the money, purchases the fruits and vegetables from the nearby market, and prepares some nice fruit salad and a wholesome grain-full meal. And he offers to Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentally, he offers it to the deity. And as he is almost ready to have and honor that prasad, 4 people, strangers, enter his house. And then they ask him that, is there something that you can feed? We are feeling extremely hungry. And then instantly Srinivas Acharya replies, oh, I have just offered this prasad for you. I am a 3-timer. I eat 3 times a day. I keep eating. I am not at all hungry. And then he very nicely accords them nice respect asana and then serves them prasad to their full content. After that, they start smiling and laughing. And it is revealed, and they say that we are the servants of Abhiram Thakur. He actually sent us to you to basically check how you are according respect to mere strangers. And if this is the way you are according respect to strangers, you are actually not caring about your own hunger, but you are more bothered about satisfying the hunger of people who come to you, who are not even known to you, Then what to speak of how you must be respecting, the Supreme Lord or the devotees of the Lord. So Srinivas Acharya is very embarrassed because he has passed the test. And then they take him to Abhiram Thakur. Abhiram Thakur, he actually embraces him. And Abhiram Thakur was famous for having a whip, and the whip was called Jai Mangal. Jai Mangal means, Jai means victory, and Mangal means all auspiciousness. So with this whip he touches him, immediately he touches him once, twice, thrice. And in this time, like it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, Ve patushta shari mere me roma harshast jayate. So his hairs are standing on end. There is ecstasy within him. He's infused with profound Krishna prem. And Abhiram Thakur starts whipping 1, 2, 3, and his ecstasy knows no bounds. And he starts shouting the names of Lord Gauranga loudly. And as this is going on, and basically the wife of Abhiram Thakur comes running, and then she says, "Stop, my lord. If you don't stop whipping him right now, he will die out of ecstasy." So here it is seen that just by respecting the instruction of Abhiram Thakur, Srinivas Acharya received love of God and experienced love of God with the whip of Jai Mangal that Abhiram Thakur actually accorded. And then further we see from the pages of Ramayana the episode of Vibhishan coming from Lanka towards Lord Ramchandra. Here we see when Ravan was fighting the war with Lord Ram, Vibhishan was not agreeing for it. And then Vibhishan goes against the wishes of Ravan, and then Ravan disrespects Vibhishan and removes him from his kingdom. And now Vibhishan comes all the way flying from Lanka towards the shore and sands where, like the Kumbh Mela, the tent of Lord Ram and his associates were ready on the banks of Rameshwaram. And there in the story we see that Lord Ram, he welcomes Vibhishan, and then what we see, Lord Ram shows his respect for the opinion for all his core members or subjects. And then the assembly who was assembled there, he asks all of them, "What is your opinion? Should we accept Vibhishan?" So as a king, Lord Ram here, he himself is showing the highest level of respect by respecting the opinion of his subordinates. Then Sugriv, he is the first one to jump up, and he says, "What to speak of accepting? We should actually kill him." And then Sugriv gives reason. How can we trust him? And many reasons Sugriv gives about not accepting Vibhishan. Then Jambavan speaks. Then many other monkeys speak. And in this way, Lord Ram patiently respects the opinion of all the people. Finally, he says, "Hanuman, what do you have to say?" Then Hanumanji, he speaks, and he says that it was said that we should not accept Vibhishan because he might not be trustworthy, but as far as he might be a cheater, but as far as I go, when I was there in Lanka, and Ravan instructed his people to kill me, it was he who had the guts to rise up and quote Niti Shastra to Ravan. And a person who has the courage to speak truth in front of the king there, how will he come and cheat us? So he says, Hanuman says, Vibhishan is not a cheater, we should accept him. And Hanumanji also gives various other reasons about why Vibhishan should be accepted. So finally, when Hanuman says this, Lord Ram is very happy. Lord Ram says, definitely what to speak of Vibhishan, even if Ravan would come and out of his 10 heads, even if one head would bow down to me, I would actually give shelter and would respect and accept him. So here the interesting thing that is to note is to see that now who is Sugriv? Sugriv is the king of Kishkinda. So Sugriv is expressing an opinion in a meeting where, if you could take Lord Ram as the CEO, and then Sugriv is also one of the leaders from one particular yatra, and then Hanumanji is a subordinate of Sugriv. And Sugriv expresses one emotion that kill him. And then Hanumanji speaks exactly opposite, contradicting the opinions of his leader. So Sugriv is not generally what we tend to do. If some of our subordinates do not agree with what we want to speak and what we are saying, then we might not be respectful towards that subordinate, or we might not have much love for him. But here, Hanumanji completely going against what Sugriv had opinionated, he speaks, and then Sugriv sees that Lord Ram is very pleased when Hanumanji speaks. So Lord Ram respects the opinion of all his members. Sugriv, he respects the diversity in opinion of his subordinate. And Hanumanji, he doesn't say that what is my master and my authority speaking. He is telling kill Vibhishan. That is not the actual thing to do. Management ko change karo. I don't want to work under that authority. Hanumanji is not rebelling or revolting against the authority. So here we learn that Hanumanji is also respecting his authority here, and he also presents his own opinion to Lord Ram. So here we see in this wonderful story that how the culture of respect is shown in these three particular different ways. Then after a few chapters in the Ramayana, we see that Lord Ram, he defeats Ravan, and now he's traveling back to Ayodhya. On the way above Rameshwaram, Lord Ram stops, and then why does Lord Ram stop? Because he didn't want to disrespect Shiva. So he then takes the Pushpak Viman down in Rameshwaram, and then he tells, I would like to respect Lord Shiva. Lord Ram feels he has disrespected Lord Shiva. Why? Because he has killed his devotee Ravan. So then Lord Ram tells Hanuman, I would like to perform Abhishek, but there is no Shivalinga in Rameshwaram. So then he says, please go to Kailash and bring a Shivalinga. So Hanuman sets off to go to Kailash and gets a Shivaling. But then when Hanuman goes there, he himself wants a Shivaling, and he also wants to get one for Lord Ram. So respecting the passage of time, Mother Sita herself starts making a Shivaling out of sand in Rameshwaram. And in the meantime, Hanumanji also comes with the Shivaling from Kailash. So now when Hanumanji also comes back, Lord Ram accords respect to Hanumanji and Mother Sita by first performing Abhishek to the Shivaling that Hanumanji brings, and then also to the Shivaling of sand which is made by Mother Sita. So these are the various examples that we are seeing, and there are many more examples in the scriptures that are quoted for offering and cultivating a culture of respect that is very imperative as a practicing sadhaka or a devotee for us to inculcate. And also coming back to our beginning, where we actually said that when somebody speaks obnoxious things, how do we deal with them? And based on certain principles that scriptures teach us, the nature of sadhutva comes out, the nature of how a true sadhu should basically conduct himself. There is a verse from Chanakya Niti which says that pralaye bhinna maryada bhavanti kila sagara sagara bheda michanti pralaye api na sadhava. So the meaning of this particular verse is the ocean's maryada is the shore. So when at the time of annihilation, even the ocean cannot control and keep its boundaries and maryada, and it actually जल और थल के बीच में उसे कोई सब सामान्य हो जाता है. That means the shore and the land both are filled with water. So then even when the ocean loses its maryada at the time of annihilation, but what is the quality of a sadhu? The nature of a sadhu is such that even when he is posed with challenging moments, circumstances which are very tempting, and the great mighty ocean may go astray, but a sadhu is one who will never go astray from his path and stick to his path of according respect and not deviate from the principles of devotional service. So when such instances come, where people might go off boil, off track, and then they might commit so many blunders. So people might ask various questions as to how to deal with them, what is to be done. So learning from this particular verse, as a practicing sadhaka, as someone who aspires to follow the footsteps of sadhus, we should also learn and consider. We could basically condone or condemn, but we should consider, and then from the teachings of the Gita, leave the decision to every individual how to deal with circumstances and accord respect in every action and everything that we do. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nithai Gaur Premanande. कितने लोगों का कंबाइन किया? वही तो चला हो गया।